Welcome, Risers. It's that time once again for the Agent Rise podcast. I'm your co-host, Neil Mathweg, joined by Mindi, Kessenich. And today we continue our conversation about YouTube 101 and how to build a channel that actually converts. And today we're specifically talking about the recording and editing process. And Mindi, you're underway with your YouTube channel and you've learned a lot so far and gotten more and more comfortable recording your videos. So let's start there. What is it like for you to get into this, the routine of recording?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know if I have the answer. No. Well, it's like the way you asked me that question is so important because it's like the routine of it is really like I am not currently like perfecting anything necessarily except like the routine and the consistency. Because that's the most important part. And I've come a long way, but it has not been like an overwhelming process for me because I'm not yet worrying about like I said, like I'm not putting these professional, well, I guess they're kind of professional because I hire an editor, but like they're not like, they don't take a production team, right?
Right.
And, I will continue to improve and add things in as I get better and more consistent. But like right now, I'm just working on getting that routine down. In fact, I was just talking to another agent yesterday about YouTube, and her and I both agreed that up until now, we've been trying to record an episode every week or every other week. And we're like, this is just not working. So we decided we're going to start batching them. So it's like, I have to like get really camera ready, like, and not necessarily like the looks. I'm just talking like the mood. I have to get myself in the mood to like put out the right energy in the camera, like one time a month, and I'll record 2 or 3 episodes. And then it's like the rest of the time is just like getting in the routine of the planning and, if I need to do research and things like that.
That's it. And I love that you talk too about the energy, right? Like if you are in a negative flow, there is no ability to record. You're not going to have it in you. You're not going to be creative and you're not going to step into it. So you're saying like, I need to batch that energy.
Yeah, for sure. Because there are days that, I've tried to I'm like, I have to put out a video today. And it's just a bad day. And, I just am not in the mood. I'm not in the energy. The words just will not come to me. And I waste an hour and a half of my time, and it ends up with no fruit whatsoever. And so I think the other thing is like, you can kind of ramp yourself up. You can, maybe like reward yourself. Like after I put these videos out, I get to like take the rest of the day off and, treat myself to a coffee or, whatever it may be, just like to make sure that you are like intentional about like, okay, today is YouTube recording day. So I need to like get in a good flow from the beginning of the day, make sure I have all of my scripts ready, my content ready, my title, because that's important as you're, that's why like one of them I haven't sent to the editor yet because I haven't figured out the title yet, things like that. So I think batching can work really well for some people. If it's something that you don't want to do, you don't want to dread it every single week. Right? You want to just dread it one day.
That's right. Make it a project and get after it.
Yeah.
Now, let's get into like the actual recording. So there's so many different ways to record, but we're going to specifically talk about recording with your phone because that's where most of us start. And so we got our phone on a tripod. And then Mindi, are you using a separate lav mic or are you just using the microphone directly from the phone?
I use literally nothing fancy at all at this stage of the game.
Yes.
Because I know myself well enough, and I think that so many people are like this. It goes back to waxing the car. We talk about this all the time. You think like, well, I don't have my camera yet, and I don't have my mic. Well, those are all excuses, right? And so I literally have like an $11 tripod from Amazon that I sit on my desk, and I clip my phone to it. And I just record a video on my phone. I have no special mic. If you listen to my YouTube videos, and if you're going to listen to my YouTube videos, don't mess with my algorithm. Make sure to listen
watch
to
the
them.
whole thing, people.
Let the whole
Yes.
thing play. Okay.
Yes.
Um,
And
but,
subscribe and like it and comment.
yes.
Do it all if you're going to be there, right?
Help me
Yes.
grow, people.
Yes.
I'm helping you grow. Help me grow.
Yes.
No. And so I don't use anything fancy. And if you listen to my videos, like, it's a little bit echoey, but that's not going to be the make or break. What's going to be the make or break in your videos is if you don't record them. Or if you use excuses and you don't put them out, right? And so I'm like, well, is it perfect? No, but done is better than perfect.
That's right. Yep. And they sound good. And with the ability to edit audio today and improve audio, a lot of that echo can be removed. One of a real quick tip here, there's a site that I've been using for years with the podcast. The reason the podcast sounds so good is because we send it through a system called Auphonics. It's AUPHONIC. I'll link that up in the show notes as well. But Auphonics is a great thing to run your audio through to make your audio just sound way better. Now, you don't want your audio to sound horrible. I want to mention that as well, because if your mic isn't good and your room is way too echoey, people just will not listen. The audio is that important that people just won't finish watching the video, and it'll really, really hurt your video. So don't have horrible audio. However, don't like make this too complicated, and don't let this slow you down.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that we a lot of times coach people to just do the talking head in your office, even if you want to talk about like a new construction project or, like a what does $500,000 get in Madison, Wisconsin kind of video, because you really can't control the audio, especially if you're doing new construction. I mean, you're in this big empty place that has no furniture or anything. It's going to be really echoey. So that's another reason that we say like kind of have your studio, which mine is just my office. And, the audio is going to sound better than if you're, and it's going to sound more consistent than like if one is in your studio and then one's on location. It's, and it's just harder to control. There's a lot more roadblocks that you can come up against if you are planning a YouTube video on location and then all of a sudden now it's raining or, whatever the case may be. There's just more things that can get in your way. And for most people, they're not like super excited necessarily to like get on video and start recording YouTube if you're brand new to it. And so you got to just do what feels like the most comfortable.
That's it. Now, there is also additional lav mics out there that you can buy. The technology road has come out with some great ones. It's gotten a lot easier to put a lav mic on a phone. It was such a nightmare when I started recording videos, in 1945. They didn't have these things, so it's really great. They got a lot of great tools out there for you. Another thing we want to mention around recording is when you're recording on your phone, it's one video. Okay, so let's just play this out here a little bit. You've got one, you're working on a video, and let's just say it's the pros and cons of living in Madison, Wisconsin. You set the camera up, the phone up on the tripod, just get that going, hit record, and just get the camera rolling. And then start recording, and then take a look at your notes, like, hey, in this video, we're going to be talking about the five pros and the 5 cons of living in Madison, Wisconsin. And then look at your notes and then say, the first pro of living in Madison, Wisconsin is it's college town, USA, right? And then you just go into talking about the University of Wisconsin and downtown Madison and all of that. And what we really want to get across here is that just keep that camera rolling. Don't start and stop it. Don't record a little bit and then start and stop. Just like keep that camera rolling.
Yeah, that's going to be the easiest way for them to edit. And I would just love to be a fly on the wall when they're watching my videos, because like that's what I do. And so my videos may end up being like 20, 23 minutes, something like that. And then Neil knows this because he's edited my podcasts before. I just like talk to this camera like it's a person. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That was so stupid. Like, let me blah, 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 let me rewind that. I like talk to the camera and apologize and like all these things. And,
let me do that again. Oh,
yeah. They're probably like, oh my gosh, this woman is nuts, but it's fine. And, I'll just tell them like, oh, that didn't make any sense. Like, what was I even saying? Or I'll be like, oh, that was a lie. Like, whatever it may be. And I'll be like, scratch that. I'm going to say that again. And so like, I'm coaching them through the recording as well. And hopefully they're being entertained by me being a crazy person. I don't know. But I just record it for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, whatever it takes. And then when I get them back, they're usually like under 12 minutes. So like, half of it is cut out. The other nice thing is if there is ever something that I have to read, you can let them know, like you can kind of read through it and then just give them a commentary like, hey, I had to read this. So can you just cover this with a B-roll about X, Y, and Z? So you're kind of like, you can look at it as like you're coaching the editor through your video. And that's going to be the easiest way for them to then edit. But certainly, like I can barely get them one video versus like getting them multiple videos and having them in order of how you recorded. So if you screw up and you just start again. And that's the beautiful thing about editing.
And they'll catch those off-camera kind of moments, right? And they'll remove those. And then they'll also add all of the B-roll so that your videos pop. They'll add transitions. They'll add, different lower thirds. They'll make the words pop. They'll make your video come alive. So what we're saying here is you're going to record the one video. You're then going to send your video off to an editor. And there's a lot of editors to choose from. And we are big fans of Video Ease. And in fact, if you work with us inside Agent Rise, all Agent Rise members get a discount on Video Ease. So I'm just going to drop that one right there.
It's a steep discount.
Yeah. They're hooking us up.
Yeah. It's
cool.
It was pretty generous.
Kind of almost pays for your Agent Rise membership.
Well, I mean, it certainly makes it like ridiculously affordable. So
right.
Yeah.
So
it's like a twofer.
A twofer.
A twofer. 2 for 1.
There you go. That's it. And so what you do is Mindy's got 4 videos a month that they edit for her. So she's getting those videos out. She's now going to step into batching and get those videos to Video Ease, let them work on it, get all the editing done. And again, they take it from that 23-minute video all the way down to that 8 to 12-minute video. And then it comes back and it's perfect and it's great. And then from there, we work on getting our thumbnail design. Right. And Video Ease helps with that as well. Or I've been playing around with some different guys on Fiverr and I've been loving that, just working on getting really good thumbnails.
Yeah, and Video Ease does such an amazing job. One thing that I've learned through the process is, they're not from your region. So sometimes you have to like explain things. Like, for example, I did a video recently about the people. Like, what are the people like? Because I think sometimes like, well, what would I want to know if I was going to move to Naples, Florida? I'm like, I wonder what the people are like. So I kind of try to get in the mind of, my audience. And so I'm like, I know I'm going to do it on the video. So of course I had to throw in a couple, I'm from the Midwest. So I'm like, excuse me, talk about how nice we are and how polite and, and they spelled it on the video OOP, like oop. Oops. And I'm like, oh, they don't know the OOP, because they're not like, they don't live here. So I just send them a correction to say, hey, at this timestamp, can you just change that OOP to OPE? Because that's how we say OOP.
Yes. That's
so the more, and that's true for anything. Like the more guidance that you can give your editor, the faster the better your first draft is going to come out, the less time you have to waste, correcting things or whatever. And so that's been like a learning curve. A little tip from my experience is just the more you can dial in, some of those nuances that are just things that they wouldn't know because they're not from Madison, Wisconsin. That's why we're putting this video out, right?
That's right.
So,
That's it. And they'll come up with they'll miss on a few other areas too. Like they'll have houses that have clay roofs, that we see down here in the South that you won't see up north. Right. They have, or like, the football. I remember we had a UW football one, and they had a soccer team. They had the UW soccer team, which I didn't even know we had. But
yes. Well, and then we had, like, I talked about skiing one time, and they had like cross country skiing versus downhill. And then when they sent the downhill one, there was a huge, like, beautiful mount in the background, and I'm like, well, that's not the skiing that we. So like it's like, it never dawned on me that they wouldn't know what kind of ski hills that are in Madison, Wisconsin. I mean, there's no mountains, that's for sure. So yeah, it's just little nuances that it's like, the more preparation that you can do ahead of time. And, there's for Video Ease, there's an area where you can give some description, send some notes, and, they're really great about all of that.
And also to, Mindy, you're getting some of your own B-roll as well. And, so the video editor is going to have a whole library of stock images that they can use, and they'll make your video come alive. However, if you're talking about a specific park, a specific neighborhood, a specific area, you get out there and get that B-roll. I mean, and it's as much as, putting your phone up against the side of the window of the car and driving down the road,
Yeah.
or getting a GoPro and suctioning cup a GoPro to your car, or they've got these new, I forget the brand name, but it's something around 360. It's like a View 360, and it goes on top of your car and records the 360 view, and then you can stitch what view you want. So like if you're driving down the road, you can actually say, I want this left side of the road, and you can decide in post. And then it also has a drone type feature to it. I don't quite know how this works, but it does look like it's a drone. And Rochelle up in Canada, I saw her post about it in the group, and she had did it just to show us an example of it. Went to pick her kids up from school, and as her kids were running into the van from school, she did like the drone video of them, and it was it's really cool. So there you go, Mindy. There's your next toy. But this adds to the neighborhood videos where you can, drive through the neighborhoods, do your in-studio work. We're going back to that, right? Like do the in-studio work. It's all about the neighborhood and in-studio, and then get this great B-roll that you can add to, that the editor can add to your video.
Yeah. And that's one of those things that I think you don't want to stumble on. Like, so I did not ever get my own B-roll for a very long time, for, several videos. And then I did one that was like my favorite summer activities or something like that. And, I wanted to get like real B-roll of me, or, of the, like our Bratfest and, different things that I was experiencing. And that was really fun for me. I think the neighborhoods is also another one where if I'm going to do specific neighborhoods in Madison proper, for example, I would like to have some videos of the actual streets and houses and feel. But you also don't want that to hold you up. You don't want to use that as an excuse. So I think that first you have to do some of the, the first 10 videos or whatever it may be, where you're just talking and you're, let your editor pick the B-roll. And then as you can hold yourself a little bit more accountable, then you can start adding some of those elements in is what worked for me. Because otherwise I'd be like, well, I don't have my B-roll this week, so I can't record my video. Oops.
Oops, sorry. Yep. So get that in studio done first, and then that video is queued up, and then just go collect some B-roll and keep that video moving. Another thing we want to mention today too is that, when we're talking about recording a video and then sending it off to an editor, we're fans of Video Ease. There's a lot of other different editors out there. You can even go to Fiverr and Upwork and interview and try different editors and find your editor. I'm seeing on the very, very cheap end of $50 a video, and on the high end, I'm seeing $150 to $250 a video. Okay, so somewhere right in that range is kind of the budget that you wanna set forth. And I highly, 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 highly recommend that you get an editor. I can't say that enough. It's the investment you're going to make into YouTube, and it's going to keep you going. If you're going to sit there and edit every one of your videos, it is going to slow you down, and it is really hard. I do want to mention, though, my love for Descript, which is can be found at descript.com. And what I love about Descript is if you are that DIYer and you want to edit your own videos, I don't think there's a better way to do it than Descript. What I love about Descript is you can record and edit right in the same software, and then you edit via words. And so the editing via words just speeds up the whole editing process. It does also have a library of stock footage. You can upgrade your plan and get even more stock footage. And then you can just add that B-roll over the words. And then there's also a timeline below that you can work in. I don't want to get too off track on that today, but just know that there is other options than just recording and sending off to an editor. And I think the days should be done that the agent is recording the video, bringing it into Adobe Suite or into Final Cut Pro and sitting there and cutting it all up and editing it. And I know I spent, 5 to 10 hours of video back in the day doing my own editing. I really don't recommend that for an agent. You won't stay consistent. You won't get your videos out on time, and you just be spinning your wheels. And maybe you feel like you've got the time right now because you're not busy selling real estate. But once you get busy selling real estate, you won't have time.
Well, and I think we're too critical of ourselves too. They pick the best clips or whatever, where we're just going to be a lot more critical. I know I would be.
Yep.
And I also look at it as like, this is like the scenario of, as a full-time real estate agent, you should absolutely 100% have a transaction coordinator. We've,
Yep.
Been drilling that
Yep.
forever and ever. This is like your transaction coordinator for YouTube. I mean, because YouTube, it's, it's a long game, but it will produce some really great leads. And it's every time I get a client from YouTube, I completely forget that I don't have to pay a referral fee because they feel like they're a agent referral. That's the type, like that's what, like they come with that kind of trust and loyalty. And so I'm always like, oh yeah, they're from YouTube. I don't even have to pay a referral fee for this transaction. And so certainly, like, at some point you should be springing for that transaction coordinator, which is the editor, in my opinion.
And not like, the editor is going to keep you on track, right? Like the transaction coordinator is. It's such a great point. Like you need to hire up.
Well, and you pay attention, right? Like,
amen.
You
got
that's
an ongoing membership with Video Ease that makes you put those videos out, doesn't
it? Yeah, for sure. Like when I see that money get taken out of my account, I'm like, ooh, I gotta put some videos out.
Yep, I gotta get on that. I'm already paying for it. That's it.
Yeah.
And so not only does the video editor help you stay consistent, but also planning. Like, how do you continue to plan? And this is something that we're really excited about inside Agent Rise, where we're offering the YouTube content planning in a brainstorming session where we're bringing ideas that are working over in this market. And this, this latest keyword just popped, and this latest, structure of a video is working over here. And it's a mastermind so that you're never stalling out on that planning, because that planning can get difficult too.
Yeah, and I'm excited about that because I think that is the hardest part of YouTube, is just finding videos that are first and foremost effective, and they've got the keywords and they're going to get watch time, but also they have to be congruent to you. Because I've tried putting out videos that I quote unquote should put out, and if I don't care about the topic, my videos suck. So finding that, like, those buckets. And that's what the planning sessions are all about, is like having your buckets and then which videos fall into that you are going to be a little bit excited to talk about. Because I think that's a really important part. We talked about having the energy. Well, that's a big part of having the right energy going into it, is if you're excited about what you're talking about. So
yeah, and we have, inside Agent Rise, we have a whole list of the videos that you need to do to get the algorithm to recognize you in your market and to stand out. And then after that list is done, it's kind of like, okay, now what? And you want to form buckets so that you understand, what you're focusing on and what kind of content you want to continue to produce it with inside those buckets. But then nationwide brainstorming. I mean, how many ideas are coming from, we've got Michael Caraway in Texas and Eddie Brady in Maryland and Katie Skeen in Louisville and, agents all over the country, Travis Madison in Oregon, right? Just sharing ideas and saying, hey, I dropped this video last week and it's doing really well. And what do you think about this thumbnail to go with this content? And, it's just that you got to stay in community of others that are doing it and keep moving forward.
yeah, and they end up being accountability, between the video editor and the money you're paying for that, and then the community that's also doing it with you. It's all accountability that really helps us continue.
And also, Mindi, with this too, like we talked about, recording the video, we talked about editing the video, getting it off to the editor. But let's go back to like getting ready for the video. right? Like, what does that look like for you? I know as a female, it definitely looks different than it does for me. I just got to make sure that I, have my hair combed, and that's about it. As
And
you're
and that
cringing,
you have a shirt on.
I have a
That's
shirt.
like literally like, okay, I have a shirt on and my hair's combed. I'm good to record.
Yeah.
That's not what it looks like for women.
Yes. So walk us through that. How do
And
you get ready?
yeah, and that's, that can honestly that can really be a hurdle because it's like, oh, my hair's not done and I have to put makeup on, like it's like
Right.
one of those roadblocks. However, I will say that the way that I get ready for video now has changed drastically since my first video. My first video, I propped a chair in the corner of my living room and I set up this ring light and I had a blazer on and my hair was curled to the max and I had foundation on. Who wears foundation anymore? I mean, I had I don't know. I probably had fake eyelashes on. No, not really. But I looked as if I was walking into $1 million. I mean, that's like luxury in our market, like a luxury listing appointment.
Yes. Yes.
Like that's not how I do my day to day. And that's certainly not how I show houses. Like I'm usually like, well, I gotta go for a hike. So I'll meet you after my hike, but I might, be in a hat and, I mean, that's how a lot of times I'm working. And so well, this is ridiculous. Not only is that a huge hindrance for me to want to do the video, but this is also not how people are going to come into Madison, Wisconsin and really meet me. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little. I don't usually go from my hike, in my leggings and my athletic gear, but I'm pretty casual with most of the buyers I'm working with, because if they get to know me at all, they know that I'm a fairly casual person. And so anyway, all that to say, now I will, if it is a recording day, assuming my hair is not 4 days out from being washed, I will show up on camera pretty much how I look, like what I look like. I will throw on some mascara and a little blush, I'm not saying that I just roll out of bed and I flip the camera on, but I don't any longer let that be a stumbling block for me. I don't let that become an excuse. Well, you're recording either way. So if you don't like the way that you're going to look on camera, then you got to take a shower. And then I have the choice of well, I can either go with my hair up or I can take a shower.
Yes. But I just love too, if you're hearing this here, it's just you've gotten really comfortable, right? Because
Yeah.
you're noticing that the same people that are going to meet you on camera are the same people that are going to meet you in person.
Yeah, I literally wear a white t-shirt in almost all of my YouTube recordings because that's my favorite thing to wear is a white t-shirt and some jeans and some cute shoes, right? So I wear a white t-shirt in a lot of my videos. I certainly don't put on a blazer. I will tell you that much.
Yep. Trimmed that all back and just gotten comfortable. Yep.
Yeah.
And remember this too, guys, as you're building your following, the authentic, not only the way that you're dressed and the way that you are on camera. And I see this. I love it when I get to watch agents' videos and, helping them hit that mark and getting them going. And there's this moment in the videos, and sometimes it's in their first or second or third video, but it takes a little bit, but there's this moment where all of a sudden it's like, oh, there you are. I see. There you are, Mindi. That's the same Mindi that I know. And there you are on camera. Right. And so it's finding that voice where you just get so comfortable just being who you are. And then once you hit that mark, your audience feels it. And that's when they call you up and say, you're my agent. Let's go.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, you really want to attract people that are going to be loyal to who you are, the real you. I talk about, my family and, the people that watch me on YouTube, if they're watching any of the more recent ones, especially because I have gotten a lot more comfortable, they get me, they know that I'm kind of goofy and I say silly things sometimes because, I let my editor keep some of that stuff in, so and then when they come to meet me, there's no outlandish expectations. They know I have a family. They respect my time. Those are the people you want to work with, right? Nobody wants to work with people that you have to compel to work with you. And so I think that them feeling that like they really can feel your authenticity and your personality come through it. And that's how they choose you. And that's how you have amazing client experiences.
And if you're wondering too why we're talking so much about YouTube, it's because it's where the opportunity is in today's market, right? Like we know that our sphere is not moving as much as they were. It's a need to move market and not a want to move market. But those that are moving are seniors, relocation, and investors. And so with relocation, YouTube hits the mark, right? Like in order to stand in front of that relocation that's coming and going from your city, YouTube is where those people are at. So, and we help you build your YouTube channel inside Agent Rise. And remember that YouTube is a part of your attraction pillar, and we're going to help you build this attraction pillar, content planning every single month to get you set up so that you know exactly what you're doing and continue to attract people to your business. So don't hesitate any longer. Let's get your YouTube channel started. Come join us at Agent Rise. We're going to help you get it going, and we're going to even help you get discounts on your editor. So come join us and go to agentrisecoaching.com and book your discovery call today, and let's get you going.
Woohoo.
Woohoo! Yes, that's it. That's awesome. And again, so seriously, get that YouTube channel going. Let's get going, right, guys? So thank you so much for listening. Hope you have a great day. And like always, remember to be the reason somebody smiles today.